evening. Can you hear me? Welcome. My name's Lynette Pullman of the University Museums. I am so pleased to see all of you here tonight. I wish I had more air conditioning for you. But we're here to celebrate the opening of this exhibition, In Pursuit of Wildlife Conservation, the Art of J.N. Darling and Maynard Reece. I would like to truly thank President Leath and Mrs. Leath for hosting this with us. Their participation, and I mean active participation in this process, has been wonderful, and it's significant. I'm off script already. They're the only presidential family that have bought art for the museums on the same day, ever, at Iowa State. It goes down in history in my book. Tonight, we are here to celebrate the artist, J.N. Darling and Maynard Reece, and their multiple relationships as artistic mentor, friends, colleagues, and two of the most important national artists who have worked their lifetimes to preserve and conserve the natural and beautiful world that we all occupy. Their artistic and political reach and influence is national as well as global. I will not recite their many accomplishments tonight, but Tom Davis, the author of the exhibition essay, summed it up very wonderfully. He said, J.N. Darling was the father of the federal duck stamp, and Maynard Reece was the king of the duck stamp. As we know, Darling created the first duck stamp in 1934, and Maynard has been awarded the federal duck stamp 5 times, more than any other artist. And of course, you already knew that, didn't you? Yay. In that gallery, for the first time ever in the world, are those federal duck stamps together. Never before have they been seen together. So I want you to really be sure and go in and look at all of that art history and science together. For nearly 40 years, the Brunnier Art Museum has been collecting and exhibiting significant Iowa artists. Many have national acclaim as well, as is the case with J.N. Darling as well as Maynard Reece. In 1974, the Darling Foundation gave Iowa State 74 prints. Over the years, it has expanded not only in prints, but etching plates and watercolors. And you can see most of that collection in this gallery as well. Again, it's the world's largest collection of J.N. Darling art. In this time, the University Museums is truly honored and very privileged to now present Maynard Reece's paintings and sculptures. Maynard truly is one of Iowa's most significant artists, and Iowa State is truly privileged to present his art from the bottom of my heart. Through the development of this exhibition, it has been the true delight of the University Museum staff and myself to get to know Maynard and his family, who are the best curators. I'll hire them and pay them next time. They have been so helpful, and we want to thank them. Thank you, Maynard, for your art. Thank you for your assistance and your friendship. And please now welcome one of Iowa's and the nation's true art treasures, Maynard Reece. He has a few words to share.
Welcome, everybody, and thank you all for coming. In particular, I want to wish a thank you to Iowa State President Dr. Steven Leath and Museum Director that you just met, Lynette Pullman, and Ding Darling, who no doubt is smiling down on us as well as his family. Others I would like to acknowledge include the exhibition's generous supporters and museum members who, without their financial help, this exhibit would not have been possible. Additionally, I want to thank some of my patrons who have loaned portions of their collection to this exhibit. Special thanks to my son Brad and his wife Carolyn, who did the photographing, the framing, and months of planning this project, my part. And also to my other brother, Dr. Mark, and his wife, Barb, who also helped with the project. Dr. Mark and his doctor colleagues prevented me from dying 15 years ago. And they're still keeping me healthy. This exhibition represents 140 years of art celebrating wildlife and conservation. Iowa's nationally recognized pioneer J.N. Ding Darling, with 2 Pulitzer Prizes, has been a monument to conservation. Within this exhibit is a terrific journey showing his passion and dedication to preserving our natural history through art. He furthered the cause through his appointments in Washington, D.C. As for myself, I'm happy to acknowledge Ding both as my friend and mentor. This exhibit honoring Ding also represents the largest collection of my original paintings ever to be shown in the state of Iowa. And I'm pleased to honor my friend, and I promise I will keep painting because that was Ding's advice to me many years ago. As a matter of perspective, note the $1 price on Ding's duck stamp. The current stamp price is $15, which has raised millions of dollars to buy and preserve wetlands, marshes, and our most precious necessity, water. This has been the most successful fundraising program in conservation history. In closing, I want to announce that my painting of quail, which is hanging back there, will be donated by my family to the Iowa State University Museum for their permanent collection honoring Mr. Darling. It hung in his office for years and years, and his final cartoon that you probably remember or seen has the painting right beside the door that he's going out, had all of his favorite things in the cartoon. And I'm very proud and touched by what he did. And now I would like to introduce Dr. Leath, who will accept my quail painting for the museum.
Thank you, Maynard. And on behalf of Iowa State University, our faculty, our staff, our students, alumni and friends, our university museums, and the University Art Collection, I very gratefully accept this wonderful and beautiful gift from your family.
Welcome.
This is a great event, and I'm thrilled with the crowd. I bet you Jamie Pollard's glad we're doing this tonight, not on Saturday, because we're going to be at the game. This is really fun to see. So, I know a little about this painting quails, and it means a great deal, I know, Maynard, to you and your family, as it did to Jay Darling and his family. And it really represents to us the close bond and artistic mentorship these two men had. And I, on behalf of the university, Lynette on behalf of the museums, are really honored to have it become part of our permanent collection here at Iowa's great land-grant university. And I must say, a university that is dedicating to supporting wildlife, conserving our natural environment, and promoting the arts on campus. Matter of fact, I'm very proud of our public art collection here at Iowa State University. It's the largest campus public art collection in the nation. I didn't realize that when I took the job, but Lynette fixed that right away. And I'm glad she did. I'm really impressed. I'm really proud to be a president with an art collection like we have here. And I'm very pleased that it includes so many wonderful outdoor wildlife and conservation paintings, including the many works of Mr. Reece and Mr. Darling, And in fact, I have one of Mr. Darling's etchings hanging in my office. Well, it's usually in my office, Lynette. Right now, it's here tonight. So I also want to say something similar to what Lynette did. Somewhere in the crowd here, oh, there's my wife, Janet. Many of you are here tonight would not be surprised to see Janet here because, like Lynette, I want to thank her because she is a great promoter, supporter of art on campus, and thank you very much for that, Janet. I'm a supporter of art on campus too, but what I really want to say right now, I'm a great outdoor enthusiast. Many of you know that. Huge supporter of natural resource conservation and a big fan of artists like Maynard Reece and Jay Darling, who have done tremendous things throughout their careers to help our conservation efforts in this country. In fact, the federal duck stamp program was one of the greatest things to happen to our nation's resource conservation effort and made it a model for the world. And in fact, that we have Mr. Darling's first federal duck stamp print in our university art collection is really an amazing thing. There's so many universities and museums that would love to have that first piece of art from the duck stamp program. And with the addition of this new painting from Mr. Darling, Quails, the collection just keeps growing as an artistic and conservation treasure. And you know, this inspired me because I must say yesterday I had a few minutes at lunch, so I made my annual trek downtown and I got my new duck stamp for this year. So I spent my $15, Maynard, you're right, they've gone up. We're really proud here at Iowa State University. There's so many connections between the federal duck stamp and the National Refuge System it helped create and the state of Iowa and Iowa State University. At the center of those collections are great Iowa natives like Maynard Reece, Jay Darling, Iowa State alum Henry Wallace, famous conservationist Aldo Leopold, and others. Indeed, we may have established we would not have established such an extensive and far-reaching conservation program in our nation and in this state if it had not been for these individuals and the people that partnered with them, like Iowa State President Raymond Hughes, faculty member Paul Arrington, who one of our guests tonight personally knew, and another famous conservationist who I mentioned earlier, Aldo Leopold. All these individuals were instrumental in creating the National Wildlife Refuge System and in helping it grow to more than 150 million acres that it encompasses today. The program ensures that future generations will be able to enjoy the same natural beauty, wonder, and inspiration that we enjoy today, and we're grateful for all the efforts of these individuals in creating this model program to protect, preserve, and conserve and strengthen our natural environment. Now, a little bit about the inspiration. This exhibition tonight that will go on for a number of months here is a result of inspiration sparked by the beauty and wonder of our environment and by these two gifted and talented artists, Maynard Reece and Jay Darling. But it's also inspired by kind of a combination of science and nature. Combining science and art and nature is something land-grant universities like Iowa State University do very well. Art in all its forms is such an important part of our education and learning here at Iowa State. An education that combines the arts and humanities with the sciences as well as the practical applications of the sciences, for example, in agriculture and engineering that we do so well and have done for so long. The result are graduates from Iowa State who are broadly educated in the arts and sciences for successes as both citizens and leaders in our society, and as individuals who are really equipped with the skills they need to be balanced individuals for the rest of their life. This university has been a leader for many years in melding the arts and sciences with its practical programs. It's a 155-year history, and we want to continue that here. In fact, it was President Hughes before me who was one of the leading innovators in combining the arts and sciences and bringing the two together. He not only he did two very special things I want to point out. First, during the Great Depression, he hired Christian Peterson as the nation's first public university artist in resident, and whose sculptures and other art make our campus a really unique place. And it was also this same president who did such great things for art who during the Great Depression accepting Mr. Darling's challenge to establish the nation's first cooperative wildlife research unit at a university. He did that here at Iowa State, which was an important step in creating a whole system of cooperative wildlife research units and creating the National Wildlife Refuge System. Both of these actions played a huge role in shaping the character of the university, expanding our permanent art collection, and bringing art and science together here. Today we're honored to add another very significant art object to the university collection. It's a great honor. It was commissioned specifically for this event. This new painting by Maynard entitled Iowa Marsh Mallards is actually very special to me for a number of reasons. But before I tell you those reasons, I want to point right to that wall over there. That is our new painting right there, folks. So thank you. You're welcome. I'd say it's really special to me for a couple of reasons. One, Maynard is one of my favorite artists. Janet and I have a print of one of his paintings, Rising Quail, hung in our home in North Carolina for many, many years. There's a real connection there with our family, and I used to look at that picture of the covey getting up in the field and think about many times I'd seen that in real life. Second, when I first came to Iowa, I went down to see a number of individuals in government, and one of the first people I went to see was Lieutenant Governor Kim Reynolds. I walked in her office in the state capitol, and it's a great office in the Capitol building there, and there were two original Maynard Reece pictures hanging in there. And I was kind of jealous, and I thought, wow, those are just beautiful, and I studied them for quite a while and talked to Lynette, and it was just shortly after that Lynette and I had the opportunity to go meet Maynard at his studio, and we saw quails. And thanks to Lynette's persuasiveness and generosity of Maynard and his family, we now have an original here at Iowa State. In fact, we have two now, so it's just tremendous. So, and this third reason has to do with that second painting. The opportunity arose to have an original painting by Maynard commissioned for this exhibit. I was thrilled. I think it's fair to say Lynette was thrilled. So when Maynard and I met to talk about it, it seemed like we connected, which made it more fun. You know, here's one of my favorite artists for many years. We meet for the first time, and we start talking about our memories of duck hunting. I told him about, hunting on cold winter mornings when the trees are bare and the sky is dark. And one of the many things Maynard does so well is to depict those dark, heavy winter skies and almost give you the feel of being on the hunt out there. And so when he said he would be delighted to take this approach, and the result is up there before you, I thought Iowa Marsh Mallards was even greater than I could hope for. So I was just thrilled when I saw it. And so now, kind of like the Lieutenant Governor, we have two originals here too. So I'll have to tell Kim that when I see her. So I want to thank Maynard and his son and daughter-in-law, Brad and Carol especially, for their great support in developing this exhibition, for their gift of the painting quails, and for completing this wonderful new commission for our university collection. I also understand a number of other members of Maynard's family are here today. I'm not sure where you are, but you can wave, and I would just like to say thank you very much for supporting him and his work, and thank you very much for supporting this show tonight. I also want to thank some others who are involved, especially Lynette. We couldn't have done it without her. It's been a very special process, one that I'll always remember. I'll always remember this crowd, and I'm not going to call people out, but I know there are a number of very generous people here tonight that help support this, and I want to personally thank them for what they've done for Iowa State in this event. So now I'd like to ask Lynette to come up for some final words, and again, thank everyone for coming. It's a wonderful event.
And thank you, Maynard. The University Museums is thrilled to have these two new Maynard Reece paintings in our permanent collection. It really fills my curatorial heart. I can't tell you how happy I am. I'll hug him later. I am very pleased to acknowledge the generosity of our donors, and I am going to call them out. The museum could not function without the generosity of people who support the arts on this campus. Fred and Ruth Kameyer, Harold and Rachel Crawford, Clifford Smith, Donna Howard, Betty and Dennis Keeney, Christopher Koss, Linda and Bill Bywater, Charlotte and Ralph Schlenker, Peter Orzum and Patty Cotter, Mary Ellen and Don Wishart, the Office of the President and the Office of the Senior Vice President for Business and Finance, and the university members have all made this exhibition and our commission possible. I say give everybody a round of applause and afterwards go eat and talk more with the Maynard. Thanks for coming.